Good morning. Good morning, y'all. How are you doing? How are you guys doing? Let me know. Um, as always, let me know if something goes awry. If you can't hear me, if I pop out, whatever, just let me know. Let me know. But also let me know how you guys are feeling too. Okay? Because it's Wednesday again. I am I just can't believe it. Time is flying by, like absolutely flying. And I just don't understand. Like, where are we? We're already at the middle of, is this even the middle? This is like more towards the end of February. I can't even say the middle. Last week was the middle. Yeah, before we know it, I feel like it's gonna be December. But either way, here we are, another Wednesday. We are halfway through the week. You guys, all you have is Thursday and Friday left. And what are you guys going to do with the rest of your week? This is the thing. Like when I was working, right? When I was working for the government, it would be where I would come in and it would be Monday and people are like, I'm like, hey, how you doing? How's everything going? It's Monday. It's Monday. I'm like, yes, it's Monday. It's good. We're here. But they would say it as if it's a bad thing, right? So we're here, it's Monday. And then when we would get to Wednesday, they'd be like, oh, it's hump day. We're almost done. All we have is Thursday and Friday. And you're getting out of there. But my thing is, hey, we have made it to Wednesday. Every day is a great day. But now, not looking for the end, right? Not looking at, okay, all we have is Thursday and Friday left, and then we're done. Like, I don't have to go into work anymore, or I get to have fun, whatever it is. We're not looking at the end of things. We are looking at it from a standpoint of, okay, it's Wednesday. I only have today and then 2 more days in this week, in this work week. What am I going to do? What am I going to do to maximize it? What am I going to do to leave this week better than I came? Right? And so I love that because it kind of segues into what we're going to be talking about anyway today. And the title of today is What You Working With? What You Working With? So I want us, after today, I want us to assess what it is that we are working with and how we can best put our first, do the best that we can. How can we best use it and utilize what it is that we're working with? So we know that because it's Wednesday, what we are working with is today and 2 more days out of the work week. If you are working a 9 to 5, because I know my entrepreneurs in here, and even if you're working a 9 to 5 and you do something on the side, then most likely your work week doesn't end on Friday. Okay. So, but regardless of the fact, if you are working till Sunday, if you're working till Saturday, you only have a few more days in this week. So, what are you going to do with it? What are you going to do to maximize the rest of what you have or maximize what you have? So, before we get into it, you know what we have to do. We are going to pray. We are going to enter into this hour with prayer, because one of the reasons why, if somebody is new, one of the reasons why I do this is because, one, I want my mind right. That's first. And two, because I don't want it to be me that is taking the front seat and saying what's on my mind rather than what's given to me. So one of the ways that I've found that I can do this is that, and move out the way, is to enter in it with prayer and really setting the stage that it's not about you. It's not about you. It's about what you're given. You are only here as a conduit. You're only here as a vessel. You're only here to be worked through in and worked through. So I really have to remind myself because look, again, if you're new, you will understand if you stick with me long enough that I struggle with control. That is one of my weaknesses, right? Um, and it's okay. It is okay. And I stress this and I won't stop stressing this. It is okay to have weaknesses, but it's important to know where your weaknesses lie because those are the places in which you will be tested. Those are the places in which you need to get stronger. So, knowing and assessing, regularly assessing, going back to what you're working with, right? Knowing what you're working with and knowing what my strengths are, knowing what my weaknesses are, and not judging myself because of my weaknesses, but knowing, okay, this is something you struggle with. That's okay. We're going to work on that. We're going to work through that. And then I know when things are coming what to expect, right? When things come my way and it feels like I'm out of control. And it's like, oh my gosh, I have no idea what's going to happen. And this, that, what can I do? Now I can go back and I can say, oh, wait, wait, wait. I see you. You're trying to make me stronger. That's what's happening. So in this instance, I need to practice letting go. This is what this situation is communicating to me. Let go. Let go. Work on your release, right? So in knowing our weaknesses, that is that's what happens, right? We can see things for what they are instead of something happening and then I'm upset because I'm out of control. I'm upset because I don't know what's about to happen. I'm upset because I can't seem to navigate the future and I don't know what is beyond these trees. I'm not getting upset because I know what it is. So that is the importance of knowing your weaknesses. We all know, a lot of times we know our strengths and we focus on our strengths because, of course, we want to use um, or we want to make the best use of our energy. So we don't want to sit there and put it into our weaknesses and we're just like, you got to get better. You got to get better. That's not what I'm telling you to do. But yes, focus on your strengths and utilize your strengths and wherever or wherever you are, but also be aware of your weaknesses. Okay. So that is the reason why, that is one of the reasons, or I guess that was two of the reasons why I pray before I do this. I want to move out of the way and I want to get my mind right. So the third reason is because I want God to occupy the space. I know He's here, but I want to personally invite Him in. So one of the other things that I've realized is that going through my day, right? It's where I know He's here. I know that He's present, but it's just a difference when I say, when I pause out of my day and I'm like, hey, Lord, I'm telling you, I'm headed in this direction, but if you see fit for something different, let me know. I'm here and I'm available for you. I'm available for you to come in. I'm available for you to speak to me. I'm available for you to take up space here. I'm available for us to talk. I'm available for you to redirect me. When I'm saying these things, I feel differently, right? It's like he's like, okay, can I come in? You know how you have it where somebody's visiting and they're outside, but they're here, but they're not sure whether they can proceed. Like, can I come in? Are you going to let me in? How you feeling right now? And I just want to make sure that he knows that, look, at any moment of any day, you can come in, you can occupy this space, and I will do it. I'm here to be communicated to. I'm here to have a conversation. I'm here to be redirected. Whatever it is that you're telling me to do, I am fine with it. So those are the three reasons why I pray. And before this, and we're going to get into it, right? Okay, so let's do it. Dear Lord, thank you for everything that you've done for us, everything that you continue to do for us. Thank you for being here in this moment. Thank you for being here with us every moment of every day. And Lord, just like I communicated, I want you to know that you can come in, you can occupy our space, you can occupy our hearts, you can occupy our minds, you can occupy anything that you want to, Lord, because you are welcome. You are welcome here. You are welcome at any moment. And Lord, I just wanted to be where we're that fluid of where one, we take heed to your voice. One, we know your voice. And two, we take heed to where it is that you're calling us. And three, we are that fluid to where we are moving in whatever direction it is that you are calling us without hesitation, without fear, without doubt, without worry, without any of those things that keep us from really hearing and following your word, Lord. I want us to be able to work on and get better on in just being more aware of your presence, more aware of what it is that you're trying to say to us, getting more aware or being more aware of your guidance and your direction, Lord. I just want us to be on it. And I just thank you for working through me and in me every single Wednesday. And honestly, outside of Wednesdays as well, just every single day, just working through me, in my videos, in my posts, in my discussions with my clients, in my discussions um, with just people on a day-to-day basis. And Lord, I thank you for working through and in every single person who is on this live and who is catching it on the replay, every person that is sharing this. Lord, I just ask that you do the same, and I thank you for working in and through them, and not only touching them but also touching their children, also touching their spouse, also touching their parents, also touching the people who they speak with on a day-to-day basis, Lord, whether it be through their clients or whether it be through the person on the street, in the restaurant, it doesn't matter. Lord, I ask that you bless their day-to-day activities, whether they have to run errands today, whether they're going to be at work, whether they're actually in the workplace or working from home, whether they're going to be homeschooling their kids, taking care of the house, whatever it may be, Lord, I ask that you bless their every move, and not only bless it, but show them how to multiply it. How can they become better? How can they use what you have given them and make more, be fruitful, multiply what it is that you've given them, Lord, whether it be money, whether it be resources, whether it be their knowledge, whether it be their gifts and their talents, whatever it may be, Lord, shine the light and just show them what they are capable of. Show them, reveal their gifts, reveal their talents if they aren't aware of it. Lord, just work in them and through them, work in and through me, Lord. And as I always pray, move me out the way. I don't want anybody to see Christina. I just want everybody to see you. So, Lord, again, take control. Uh, Put me in the passenger seat. Matter of fact, put me in the trunk, Lord. I don't want to be anywhere in here. So I thank you for occupying this space. I thank you for being here today. And I just ask that you bless this word. Amen. Okay. All right. So what are you working with? What you working with, right? That's what we are going to be talking about today. And I want you guys to know that this came from, well, it started with the live that I did with Angel Jackson. If you guys have not seen that, that was the last live that I did, and it was with Angel, who is a 9-year-old. He's a 9-year-old productivity coach. He is a best-selling author. He is amazing. He deals in Forex, and he's a creator, he's a YouTuber, like, I mean, you name it, he basically does it. So I interviewed him, and one of the things that I had asked him was why productivity, right? Because I mean, I don't know, that's not, people talk about it, but it's not like the norm that you just see that somebody's niche is productivity, right? It's like, this is the thing that I do. It's, I don't know, like I don't see that on a regular basis. So one of the things that I asked him was why productivity? And his answer kind of blew me away a little bit. Like it caused me to step back and just like think on that for a second. And so what he said was, well, the Bible calls for us to be fruitful and multiply. And being fruitful is being productive. And so I was like, wait, what? Hold on. Because I had never thought about it like that, right? Even though if you really dissect the definition, it's in there. Like, how can you produce fruit? Right? It's right there. What I just said, produce. How can you produce anything without being productive? You can't. You can't. So I'm going to put it up here because I ended up looking it up. Right. So the definition of fruitful, right? Producing much fruit, fertile, producing good or helpful results, productive. He was right. The essence of being fruitful is to be productive. So when I thought about that, I'm like, okay, so we've got to be productive. We've got to be productive in the time that we're given, in the space that we're given to do so, with the knowledge that we have, with the talents that we have, with the gifts that we have. We have to be productive. So I was like marinating on that. From the time that he said that, honestly, up until yesterday, it's been in my mind. They're just like, oh, you need to be productive. You need to be productive. And I mean, that's something that I think about, but it was just a totally different way that he made me think about it. So I still didn't know what I was going to talk about at that point, but that had been on my mind. And then yesterday, it was where my husband was doing his devotions, and so I sat on the bed and I'm like, "Well, what you reading? What you reading?" And he told me. So it came from Proverbs 27:23, and so I'm just going to read it real quick, right, for you guys, and I'll put this up here. Okay, Proverbs 27:23 through 27. So we going, uh-oh. 27, 23 through 27. Okay, so I'm starting obviously with 23. Know well the condition of your flocks and give attention to your herds, for riches do not last forever. And does a crown endure to all generations? When the grass is gone and the new growth appears, and the vegetation of the mountains is gathered, the lambs will provide your clothing, and the goats the price of a field. There will be enough goat's milk for your food, for the food of your household, and maintenance for your girls. So, one of the things, not one of the things, it was three things, and I put it right here. Three of the things that stood out to me for that um, was one, when we're talking about know well the condition of your flocks, right? So we want to know where we are. know where we are, know where we stand, know what you are working with right now in this moment. What are you working with? What are you working with financially? What are you working with mentally? What are you working with your talents, with your gifts? What are you working with as far as time? What are you working with as far as um, taking advantage of the time that you have? So taking inventory of what it is that you have and what you're working with. And then sorry, my phone went, which one? And give attention to your herds, right? So pay attention to what you have. So not only knowing what you're working with in this moment, but paying attention to what you have. There's two different things. So I can know the amount of money that I have in my bank, right? I know I have X amount, right? Whatever. Um, but you can know what you have. You can know what you deposited. And you're like, okay, this is what I have. This is what I have. But you paying attention to it is two different things, right? A lot of people know what they have, but then they don't pay attention to what they have and how they use it, right? So you've got to know where you are, know where you stand, know what you have, but then also pay attention to what you have. So then when it goes into things don't last forever, right? We know that. But this is why we have to plan accordingly, right? So know where you want to go, but also plan for where you want to go. All right. So those are the three things that I picked up from those verses. So then I'm like, okay, that's what my husband was talking about. That's what he was studying. And I'm like, okay, that kind of lends to the same thing, right? Of being productive. And because you can only be productive if you know what it is that you're working with. And so I'm like, okay, all right. And then I go and do my devotions, right? And so what came up for me was the parable of the talents, right? And so we know this one, right? We know this. So this comes from Matthew 25 and it's 14 through 30. And so I'm not going to read all of it, but here it is for you guys who do want to read it. So what happens is that this person, right? He owned slaves, and that was a normal thing during that time in the Bible, right? So he's going away, he's leaving, and so he is leaving them with what he has. So for one of his servants, one of his slaves, he gave 1 talent, and then for the other he gave 2, and then for the other he gave 5, right? And he's like, okay, I'm giving you these things, and I'll be back. I'm going to be back. I don't know when I'm going to be back, but I'm going to be back. Just know I'm going to be back. And what happens is that the servant with the 2 and then the other servant with the 5, they they use what they had to not only just used it, but they looked for ways in which to multiply it. And the one with the 2 ended up multiplying it into 2 more. Then the one with the 5, then 5 more. So but the thing is the one with the one, right? We've got the one with the one. This is the thing that really stood out to me, right? Is that, and I'm going to put this up here real quick. He did not multiply it. He did not do anything with it. He just buried it. And his thing was that he was afraid. He did not do what the other 2 did because he was afraid. He wanted it to be where, hey, you came back and I was able to give it to you. I didn't lose it. This is the thing. I want to let you know that I didn't lose what you gave me, right? And so what happened was that when I read that, right, I was like, okay, automatically, I'm like, okay, clearly I should talk about this because this has come up 3 times. And when I came across this one with the 1 talent, right, what hit me was that there's going to be a lot of people who are going to be face to face with God, right? At the time where he's like, okay, what's up? What did you do? What did you do? And we're going to be like, well, we're going to be showing up with what it is that he originally imparted in us when he put us on earth. We're showing up with exactly what you gave me. I did not multiply it. I did not make more of it. I was not fruitful. I was not productive with what I gave because I was afraid to use it. You gave me these gifts. You gave me these talents, but I was afraid to use them. I wasn't sure how it was going to work out. I wasn't sure if I was going to fail. So I didn't want to step out, and I didn't want to write that book. I didn't want to step out, and I didn't want to create that business. I didn't want to step out, and I didn't want to become a speaker because I was afraid maybe I would say something wrong. Maybe I would run out of topics. Maybe people wouldn't like me. I was afraid. So I knew what you gave me, but I didn't use what you gave me. And I didn't multiply what you gave me. As far as money, well, a lot of y'all, a lot of us it's sticky when it comes to money. It's a little tricky. So it's going to be people that, hey, you gave me things. You blessed me with this opportunity. You blessed me with this job. But because I couldn't see past where I was currently, I wasn't able to multiply. I wasn't able to be fruitful in the position that I was because one, I was too focused on getting out of it. I was too focused on what I didn't like about the position. I was too focused on the people who were surrounding me that I wanted to get away from. I was too focused on somebody telling me stuff or giving me directions when I wanted to be my own boss. I was too focused on the things that I wasn't supposed to be focused on, instead of being focused on where it was that you were calling me and how could I maximize this opportunity of where I currently am. A lot of us going to be like this. And so that is what stuck with me with him. He didn't use his talent. He didn't use it, and he didn't find ways to multiply it because he was afraid. And so I want us to move away from the fear and say, okay, how can I best use this? And this is the thing that also came up is that, honey, we own nothing. We own absolutely nothing. Nothing. So even when we're thinking about control, and this is the other thing that I want to harp on this control, right? Because one of the things that was said in Genesis 1:28, right? Be fruitful and multiply. So I definitely this isn't the actual verse, right? This is summarization. Be fruitful and multiply the earth and subdue it, right? And then it continues to say, and have dominion over, it will say the plants, the animals, and all that good stuff, right? So we've already talked about be fruitful, multiply, right? And then we come to dominion, have dominion over, right? So then I was like, okay, what's the definition of dominion, right? We want to get into these actual words. So we've got sovereignty or control, right? And sometimes we'll think, and this is what I wanted to do. I wanted to get further into the definition of control, because here it is where we'll think that because we have control over something, or because we have the authority, and that is where the control is, that we own that thing. And the thing is that control does not mean ownership. Those are not the same things. So just because you have control, that is the authority. So God has given us authority over the things. So you have authority over your kids. You have authority over your household. You have authority over your finances. You have authority over these things, right? But that does not mean you own these things. You do not own anything. So here we go with, I wanted to go, okay, so we've got the definition: supreme power or authority. There we go, right? Sovereignty. supreme, we've got power, we've got authority. These are things that I often speak of. We've got that power, we've got to understand that, and we've got the authority. But here we are with control, the power to influence or direct people's behavior or the course of events. So do we see anywhere in there that it says control? No. No, I mean, not control, I'm sorry. That it says that we own. Is there anything about ownership in this definition? No, there isn't. There's nothing about ownership, but it does say that you have the power, which we already know, the power to influence or direct. So we've got the power to influence different situations. This is why I say that we're creators, right? We can create our own reality. We can create what we want to happen. That's why it's important for us to have vision, because we have that power to influence or direct. But we do not have ownership. So this is the thing that I want us to understand, because when it comes to, and this is the thing, y'all know how my mind works. It works like a business, right? So I compare everything to business. But this is the thing that I thought about, right? Is that when you have a business, right? And we say that it's banging, it is growing, it is just like out of this world, like growing, and you're just like, well, I cannot obviously do this alone. So you're hiring people, and then your ultimate goal, I mean, I don't know about you, but my ultimate goal, right? I don't want to stay in the business like that. No matter what business I create, I don't want to always stay in it. I like to be on the outside of where I'm working on it. I'm working on growing it, and I'm putting people in place, and I'm doing the fun stuff, right? So eventually, and even if it's not something right now that you would want to do, eventually as you get older, you're going to want to start pulling yourself out of the business of where you're doing less and you have somebody else taking your spot, right? So here it is of where we're at that point of where we're like, okay, I'm going to start pulling myself out of the business, and I now elect a CEO, right? So you have been deemed the CEO. What are you expecting of that CEO? What are you expecting of him or her, right? So we're electing this person because one, we see that they can do a good job. They can take our place, and not only just take our place, but they have a vision to be able to take where we are right now and scale it, right? That is the whole point. I'm not putting somebody in position to just keep us the same way and just keep us afloat. No, I want to rise. I want you to take us up. I want somebody with an immaculate vision, right, of where we could be. I want you to be dreaming in the stars, and I want you to take us past the stars, right? So this is why I'm appointing you. But when I appoint you as CEO, does that mean that you own my business? Does that mean that I am relieved of all rights, right? Of where I do not have ownership at all. No, I am asking you to come in and serve as a high level management position, as a high level manager. That is what you are. You are to manage. So I am giving you the dominion, I'm giving you the authority, I am giving you the power, and you can direct and you can influence, right? Decisions, because I want you to grow. I want you to grow the business, right? So this is the thing. This is the same thing when it comes to us, when it comes to our lives, when it comes to what we've been given. So when you've been blessed with money, when you've been blessed with a job, when you've been blessed with a family, when you've been blessed with a house, when you've been blessed with friends, when you've been blessed with parents, when you've been blessed with uh, a family, right? Period. When You've been blessed with knowledge, when you've been blessed with the ability to speak, when you've been blessed with the ability to write and communicate, when you've been blessed with the opportunity, whatever it is that you've been blessed with, right? This is the thing. You've been given these gifts, you've been given these talents, you've been given these resources for a reason. It isn't just to sit on them, it is to maximize those things. It is to say, okay, I've been given this. How can I make the most of what I have? How can I multiply this thing? How can I use these resources and not only use them, but double them, but triple them? How can I do this? So when I talk about this, y'all know I talk a lot about talents and gifts and about money, right? So I talk a lot about those things, but it extends to everything that you are working with, right? It extends to your time, right? The time that you have. How can you maximize on the time that you have right now? When it extends to your family, how can I multiply this? And I don't mean multiply it in the means of having kids, but how can I multiply the memories that we share? How can I multiply the moments that we have? How can I be fruitful in this moment and be present in this moment to be able to really capitalize on what I have? So, how can I make more? How can I make more of the good that I want? So I'm gonna pause here for a second because, Lord, my computer is tripping. Um, y'all, I was on full a full battery, and now my computer is at 9%. And so I'm sorry, I had to text my husband, and hopefully hopefully he can bring it down. I don't know. But if not, I'm gonna have to just run up real quick. But I got 9%. So these are the things that I want us to be thinking about. So we do not have ownership of those things. And as we talked about last week, as far as separating ourselves, these are the reasons, right? This is how we can separate ourselves from the money. This is how we can separate ourselves from our bodies, and like I compared it to the meat suit, right? How we can separate ourselves from how we look is because we don't own any of these things, right? So when you don't own those, it's a degree of separation there, of where I am not those things. I don't own those things, and nor are those things me. So we've got to understand this, and I'm going to put this in big bold letters, right? We own nothing. We are simply managers of what it is that we've been given. And the thing is that when you are a manager, when you've been put in place to manage, you are put in place for one a reason, because they have faith that you can do the job. And then two, that we are putting you in place because we want you to maximize what it is that we've given you. Thank you. Oh, I thank you. He brought it. So so hopefully, y'all, this actually charges, but either way, I'm almost done. So Lord, allow us to make it through. Allow us to make it through this. Let me see. Okay, so it looks like it's charging, but sometimes it'll look like it's charging and then it's not actually charging. So Lord, bless it, bless it. But we're gonna make it through. So our duty is to maximize what it is that we've been given and what we have. So that is what I know that there was something that I wanted to put up here. Okay, this is the other thing that I knew it was something else, right? So this is the other part that I wanted to highlight. So here we go. Yeah. Proverbs 13:22. One of the things that is saying is that a good man leaves an inheritance to his children's children. So, yeah, you see that it doesn't just say children, right? Leaves an inheritance for his children. It's for his children's children. And then we want to go beyond that, our children's children, right? So when we're talking about the things that we can do, and this is not just when it comes to money, right? But it's doing it. I see myself. My computer is about to die, y'all. It's doing the thing. It's about to die. I don't even know what to do. I don't even know what to do. But I'm just gonna, I don't know. I don't know. I don't want to get into something that dies, but whatever. I'm choppy on my end. I know that I'm going to be choppy on your end, but it is what it is. We're gonna work with it. So what I was saying is that it's not just as it comes to money. We're not just talking about money, but we're also talking about knowledge. We're talking about our resources. We're talking about imparting our values, right? So the things that we're standing for, the things that we would want our children to have and to hold on to for their generation, and not only their generations, but their children's generations and beyond that. So we've got to understand that it doesn't just stop with us, right? So a lot of times we think that what we have, we just got to do the things that we need to do to get by for us, and then we sometimes do not think about who comes after us. So this is the thing that I want you to keep in mind, that it doesn't stop with you. It keeps going. This is the point of business, right? When we're talking about a business, we are not electing that person to just stop. It's it for the business to stop when they die. If I elect a CEO and he passes away, I don't expect the business to pass as well. I expect it to keep moving. I expect it to keep growing. I expect now that I have somebody else, or he has somebody else in place that comes, and we keep going, right? But the values and the knowledge and the things that he has given to the business, it is now allowing it to continue to flow and to continue to grow. And this is the thing that we've got to understand when it comes to ourselves, is that we've got to really think beyond us. Think beyond us. So this is the thing that I'm going to leave you guys with as far as leaving an inheritance, understanding that you are here to multiply. You are here to be fruitful. You are here to grow, right? So leave that, how the servant with the one talent, right? How he had a scarcity mindset. It was where I didn't want to use that because I was afraid. I am afraid, right? I'm afraid of using my talents and my gifts. I'm afraid of really putting myself out there. I'm afraid of using what it is that I have, out of fear that I may not have anything. So I am not going to do that. I'm going to release that mindset. I'm going to release that scarcity mindset. I'm going to release that lack mentality. And I am going to use what I have. I am going to know that, yes, it's a lot that I have to consume. Yes, it's a lot that I have to learn. Yes, there's a lot that I need to do, but I know that I can do it, right? There is nothing that I cannot do. All things are possible. And this is the thing that we also talked about during the interview with Angel, right? All things are possible. And understanding that you've been given what you've been given because you can multiply it. You can have more. If God is promising you abundance, that is not just for Jim and Sue and everyone around you, it's for you as well. So if he's promising everyone else abundance, he's promising you abundance. So what you've been given is what you have right now. But it's not what you're supposed to be ending with, right? You can maximize on your opportunities. You can maximize on your relationships. You can maximize on your finances. You can maximize on the knowledge that you have. You can maximize on the gifts that you have. You can maximize on the talents that you have. You can maximize on the the time that you have with your kids. So I want you guys to really understand that. And I hope that it's not where I am super delayed, um, because that's really going to make me upset because I'm still choppy here. And I don't know. I don't know. Understand that. And I hope that. Okay. So obviously my voice is still going, so that's okay. I am choppy, but I can deal with me being choppy because honey, you don't need to see me. All you need to do is just hear the message. So it doesn't really matter. You can hear my voice is still flowing. And so that's cool. That's all we need. But I want you guys, let's release that. Let's release that mentality because that's what keeps us in this box. That's what keeps us limited. That's what keeps us as a servant with one talent, right? Of like, look, this is what you gave me. This is what I'm going to end with. This is not why you were given what you've been given. You've been given what you've been given because you can make more. You are a multiplier. Right? You are an investor. A lot of times we want, and I've heard so many times people want to invest, right? They want to get into stocks, they want to get into real estate, they want to put their money into places so that they can grow. But then when you look at their lives, nothing else is growing. But you want your money to grow. This is the thing. You are a stock, right? You are real estate. You are that precious thing, that time, that energy is going into. And that as you would want for your money, when you're placing it in the stock market, I'm not placing it in the stock market for it to just, if I'm placing $10,000 in the stock market, best believe I'm going to be checking and making sure that my money is growing, right? At the end of the year, I am not going to come and say, oh, well, great. It's still that $10,000. We're doing good. No, if that's the case, then you need to pull it out and you need to put it into another resource that is going to grow your money. This is how you would think when it comes to growing your money. This is how you would think as far as a real estate investment. If things aren't kicking back, if I'm not getting a return on my investment, then that is not a good investment. So I want you to ask yourself, are you a good investment? Are you right now a good investment? Would you invest your money in you? Would you know that in investing your money, in investing your time, in investing your resources in you, you know that you would be getting triple back, that I would be getting double back, that I would be getting more than what I put in. If that is not the case, then you're going to have to reassess what you're working with, right? And you're going to have to understand what it is that you actually are coming to the table with, what you're working with. And you're going to have to do something about that because you yourself, as I always say, you are a business. And good businesses thrive. Good businesses scale. Good businesses multiply so that why they can reach more people. We can't stay at the mom and pop shop and expect to touch the world. That's not how it works. So we start with one and then we go to two and then we go to three and then we might decide to franchise it, right? So then other people get a piece of the pie. But whatever it is, our whole goal of starting a business, our whole goal of investing in the stock market, our whole goal in investing in real estate is growth, is expansion. So why, when it comes to ourselves, we think differently? That's the whole goal of you. That was the whole goal of creating you. Shall we go back to this? What is it that God said in Genesis 1:28? What? Be fruitful and multiply the earth and subdue it, right? And have dominion over it. The one thing that he told us to do is be fruitful. No, actually, the two things. Be fruitful and multiply. That was the goal when I created you, right? When he made you, that was the goal. That was the thing. That was the reason. That is the reason. So, this is what I want you guys to think about when you are leaving, right? Is that the same thing that was on my mind when I finished the interview is that we have got to be productive. We've got to produce. We've got to be fruitful. So how can you maximize on what it is that you have right now? And not only maximize it as far as using it and stepping out on it, but grow it. And we can only grow what we use, right? So you can't grow a plant if you're not, I mean, if you can't grow a flower if you're not planting the seed, if you're not using that seed. You can't grow your money if you are not using it. If your money isn't flowing, then it's not growing. Okay, y'all, look at that. Look at that. Look at that. Use that. Y'all can use that. But yeah, so it's the same thing. If you aren't stepping out on what it is that you've been given, then there's no way that you can grow it. There's no way that you can multiply it. If you've been given the gift of speech, then if you're not speaking, there's no way that you can become better. There's no way that you can multiply your gifts. There's no way that you can touch people using your gifts if you aren't using it. You got to use it. You got to use it. All right. So use what it is. One, assess what it is that you have. What are you working with? And we're going to go back to this because it goes back to those 3 points, right? So know where you are. So we're going to assess where we are and what we're working with, and we're going to pay attention to what we have, right? So we're going to, this goes back to when the beginning of this year, when I was talking about knowing your numbers, right? Knowing what you are working with, but then also paying attention to it. So you got to know your numbers, yes, but you've got to also pay attention to your numbers. You got to pay attention to what is going in. I mean, what is going out versus what is coming in, right? And then also we need to plan for where it is that we want to go. So we've got to have this vision. So this is the reason why you've been elected as CEO, right? The vision. You've got to have the vision of where you want to be, where you want to go. And you need to have that plan, right? We're working in conjunction with God of developing that plan of how we're going to get there. How are we going to scale the business of you? How are you going to become a franchise? How are you going to reach more people? How are you going to expand your reach? How are you going to impact the world? Right? It's all in you. What you've been given is impactful. What you've been given is useful. What you've been given is valuable. So you got to use it. You got to multiply it. It's your duty. It's your job to do it. You've been elected as CEO. So what you gonna do? What you gonna do? So I'm gonna leave you with this question, right? And it's going to, it's going to take a while to get up there because my computer is acting funny. But what will you do with what you've been given? That is what I want you to ask yourself. And that's what I want you to marinate on if you don't have the answer. This is the thing that I want you to pray about if you don't have the answer. I want you to think about it until you have the answer, right? What will you do with what you've been given? So with that, I'm going to end. It's 6:55. I'm choppy, but at least y'all were able to hear my voice. As we do, nothing stops this show. Nothing stops this show. This is happening. I don't care. It doesn't matter. It's still going, the words are still going to be said. It's still going to be heard. And this is what's going to happen. So thank you guys for joining me today. And as always, we are going to do the same thing next week. It's going to be a different topic, of course, but I won't know what that topic is and you won't know what that topic is probably until you join me on Wednesday. So I will see you next Wednesday at 6 a.m. I hope you guys have a beautiful day. I hope you go in and crush it. And I mean, for today, not only for today, but for Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, next week. Look, crush it every single day. Use what you've been given and think of ways how can you maximize the opportunity that you have, the job that you're on right now. It doesn't matter if you don't like it. It doesn't matter if you don't like your boss. It doesn't matter if you don't like your coworkers. It doesn't matter. None of that matters. How can you maximize on the opportunity that you have right now, right here today, right? If you have your own business, the same thing. It doesn't matter. So, what can you do to maximize on the opportunity? So, I want you guys to think about that. How can I maximize this? What will you do with what you've been given? All right. So, now I'm going to see y'all. I'm going to see y'all next week. All right. I'll talk to y'all later. Bye.